Hi, it's Megan. I was so blown away by how beautiful Jennifer Lopez and her makeup were at the Golden Globes last night. So I was just looking at pictures this morning and I thought, gosh, can I recreate that? And yes, I think I have recreated it. But I obviously don't look like Jennifer Lopez. And I found when I recreated it that, okay, the brown eyes make a huge difference. You've got a brown smoky eye. The brown eyes make a difference. It looks a lot better with brown eyes. But I still did it. And so much as I don't look like Jennifer Lopez, she's gorgeous. We don't all look like Jennifer Lopez. I'm going to now kind of try to quickly recreate the look that she had at the Golden Globes last night. I'm going to give you little hints and suggestions as I go through it. I like to do both eyes on camera because you can speed through it if you don't want to see both, but I find when I watch these tutorials, if I only see one eye or whatever, I get it wrong the first time I try to do it. So I like to see both eyes. So that's just my personal preference, but if other people would prefer that I just do one eye and speed through the other eye on the next one, then tell me. And then also, I don't really understand the copyright rules for me putting a picture of her in this video, but I don't want the video to get flagged as a copyright violation. So I will put a picture of her on my blog and I will put in the description of this video a link to that post. So if you want to see the picture of the makeup on her, I don't have to worry about wrecking copyright and you can see it. So anyway, she had a very smoky brown eye look. So I've started out only with lotion and then a foundation primer. And I used the Gucci Face Silk Priming Foundation Primer. The one thing that Jennifer Lopez does, which is amazing, is she really focuses on skin and glow. And so a lot of her looks aren't super sparkly in the eyes or the lips or whatever, but her face just has this luminous glow. So the Gucci Face Primer, I will do a video for it pretty soon, maybe after this one actually, I don't know, we'll see, has that glow. And I never fully understand when I put a primer on, obviously it makes the foundation adhere better, blah, blah. I'm never sure when it's like a luminizing or whatever, a primer, how much of an impact it has when you put a foundation over it. With a BB cream or a CC cream that has lighter coverage, I guess more a CC cream or a tinted moisturizer, it probably works better. Then I see it. So because I don't know how much of that's going to show through the foundation, I'm using the Guerlain Terracotta Jolie Tint Foundation. And I use two shades. This one is light. It doesn't really matter. I use this one and then I use the next one up and I can't tell the difference. This one's a little bit cooler tone than the other one. So I always use a brush like this and I'm going to put it on. And I look to the side just because I do have a smaller mirror for when I do the eyes, but when I look to the side, that's where I can see the camera, what's on camera, and so I can see putting the makeup on. So I'm doing, I think I want just a little bit more. Every time I wear this foundation, I'm like a little bit. In a video, people always give me feedback that my face glows. So, and this is basically meant to have the glow that you have in summer in the foundation. It's part of the whole Terracotta line, which is basically a bronzers, and it still matches my skin tone, but it just, wait, I got foundation in my eyes. That's always a good way to start one of these videos. So I like using the brush because I just find that it gives me more even and softer coverage. And my skin is dry, so if I don't put the lotion on first, then my skin will suck up whatever I put on it. Then I have a concealer. So this is the Josie Maran, this is what I've been using lately, Argan Creamy Concealer Crayon. I like the crayon. It's really precise in the corners, which is really mostly where I need the concealer. I need it there more than I need it under my eyes a lot of times. And so it's a light but full coverage. And I look tired this morning. It's fine. It happens. Okay, there we have it. So I was saying, did I finish the statement that because I have drier skin, if I don't have to put a moisturizer on before I put on the foundation, my skin will just suck up foundation and I look like a painted lady at their very worst. So now I'm using a Guerlain Meteorites Pearl de Toile This is the one from the Christmas collection, limited edition. You don't have to use this one. You can just use a regular one. I'm using this one because it has a slightly warmer tone. Jennifer Lopez has, like me, she has in that mid-range to the slightly warm. She's slightly warmer than I am and has a slightly darker skin tone. I like this one from the holiday collection because it's one of the few meteorites that is warm toned. A lot of them are translucent, although some of the darker ones are warmer toned. You can use a translucent one. It doesn't really matter that much. I just think adding the warmer toned, slight little bit of a bronze glow to it is better. So now we have the basic for the face. And so at this point, I'm going to look my absolute worst because this is where we've taken all the color out of the face. So I'm a little obsessive when I get ready to just kind of put the foundational stuff in place. So I have this little Smashbox Brow Tech to go. And I actually have dark eyebrows and I've stopped plucking just because I don't know, I didn't like the look of the plucked eyebrows. Mine grow in, they're fine. So I kind of just brush them into place. And Jennifer Lopez has slightly darker eyebrows than I do, but she's got them in a similar shape to what my natural eyebrows are, but they're thicker right out at the very end than mine. And she also has put a lot of kind of a dark pencil in them to make them more defined. So on the other end of this is one of these little sticks, and I'm just going to do a little bit just because I feel, you know, she's got much darker hair than I do, and so I feel like if I make my eyebrows look as dark as hers, the whole look will be unbalanced. So this is where you kind of adapt it to yourself. I'm just going to put a tiny little bit to make my eyebrows a little bit more defined, but they are naturally darker than my hair, so like I said, I'll look not so good if I... Then she shaded her face. So I always shade my face for videos because when you're on camera in any way, shape, or form, you look better having those extra shadows. It can look a little artificial if you overdo it in real life, but on the camera you obviously have to do it. So this is a Guerlain Four Seasons, and I can't open it, bronzer. And I'm really only going to use the darker one here. This one has just a tiny bit of sheen to it. And normally I wouldn't do that, but her face is done with such a beautiful glow that using a matte bronzer would actually kind of add a flatness, which her face doesn't have. So what I'm doing, because she's got that whole cheekbone thing doing, putting a little bit here, which I normally for daily use wouldn't do. And then I do the chin and the upper neck because my neck is always lighter than my chest, and it is for most of us. And she actually has really strong contouring at the jawline if you look at the picture. And she's got some interesting contouring done with her face, which part of it is very specific to her. Obviously we all have slightly different faces, but she definitely has got this kind of three thing going on where you're doing a little three. Just beautiful cheekbones. Then I'm going to take bronzer number 2 because this is not a bronze heavy look, but everyone said it was a warm golden glow, and she definitely has a warm golden glow. So this is the bronzer by Dolce & Gabbana Glow Bronzing Powder Cashmere. Again, this has a slight shimmer to it because normally I wouldn't use it, but she's got this glow to her face, not so much elsewhere. So this is a very light bronzer. And this, what she's done with her, I'm looking to the side to see what she's done with her blush is right under the cheekbones, and I'm having to use this other right under, and I'm using this kind of a wider brush because I don't want super precise, I want it softer. So it's like right on the underside of her cheekbone. So you do that, see where your cheekbone is, and then go on the underside. See, you can start seeing the shading in my face, and I'm going to do it a little bit more dramatic than I would in the real world just so that it shows up more on camera, but you can also blend. And then what they've done, this is a MAC Prism Blush, and it's got a really cool color. It's like kind of a neutral with a little pink in it, and her blush actually is a little pink in it as much as her look is kind of brown, warm. She's got a little pink going on so that it doesn't get too warm. Probably, my guess is because her skin tone is warm but not super warm, they wanted to keep a little bit more balance in the look, the makeup artist. So I'm just dotting on kind of this pinky bronze color. And again, she's got it a little bit lower than I did actually. I'll blend the top out. She's got it kind of on the underside of her cheekbone right in there. So a little bit on the underside of the apple, like that. And hers comes in about where her pupil lies, so right in there. Then, so this to me is a foundation. Like, we're starting to see the face take shape. And what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to put on a little highlighter. She has a little highlighter dotted here and here, but it's not going to show up so much on camera. But she does have that little highlighter dot. I'm not going to do it, but I'm just telling you. Then I'm going to, this is something I do, I guess, I don't know, differently than a lot of other people do. I like to see the black on the liner earlier rather than later. And by that I mean on the waterline. She's got some black on both waterlines, upper and lower. Some people put this on as the last step. I actually like it as the first. And I'm using Perversion just because I like a soft liner. Now when they lined her eyes, they lined it all the way in so that you can see black right in that inner corner. I like Perversion just because it's so soft, it's so dark, and it's so quick. So there, we've got the eyes completely lined with the black. This is where, actually I'm going to do the lips first and I'll show you. I picked 2 lip colors and then a little bit of a gloss. I have the Dolce Gabbana Nude, the lipstick. Her lipstick is a shade that doesn't look super great on me, but looks really beautiful on her. It's a nude with a slight peach, which has a little bit of pink in it, undertone, and it's a very nude. So this one works great. And then also I have MAC Peachstock, so I'll swatch both of these on my wrist. And her lip has a certain opacity to it, so you can see the two. The reason why I like this one better is I just think it matches a little bit better. It's got more of that kind of a little bit more pink than a lot of these other types of peachy nudes, which really seems to fit her. Look. So doing that, I'm drying. I'm drying my lip. And I also love the Dolce Gabbana. She has got a little bit of a sheer or peach lip gloss over her lips. And I think the Dolce Gabbana has a little sheen to it anyway. So we're going to work with the lips already done. So you can see the lipstick, but then what they've done on top of that is put just a little bit of gloss. And I was looking for a clear, which I don't have a lot of, and then I just saw peach. So it doesn't matter what you have. This is just a light matte peach, but she has a no shimmer, meaning no glitter, whatever, lip gloss, just a touch over the lipstick to make it look less flat and less dead. And when I get fascinated with Jennifer Lopez's makeup, a lot of times it's because she does have this layers, like, you know, different layers of blush, different layers of stuff going on in her lips. And it's never overdone. In fact, as I look at her picture, I probably could do one other little thing with blush. I think it needs a little bit more darkness. So I'm going to use this Guerlain again, the darker Guerlain. And at a certain point, she can carry off more shading than I can because she has stronger cheekbones, and is also just for photos. It's all on camera. You know, she probably looked a little overdone in person. So I'm just going to shade a little bit darker. I think the Cashmere was a good start, but not quite dark enough on the underside of the cheekbone. Yeah, I like that better. More like her. Okay, now we're going to go to the eyes. So I was saying this is where I had the hardest time because even though I'm okay with bold eyes, they did a really bold thing underneath her eyes. So I'm going to start on the underneath. This is how I did it earlier, and it looks weird for a minute. So this is the Dolce Gabbana, was it the Desert 123, the eyeshadow. So this is what it looks like. And I'm going to use the 2 bottom shades. And I will do the top after, but this is how I did it initially. So she uses a lot of brown, and it's a really thick line. This is definitely not something that I would advocate for every day. It's really a lot of brown. And it looks beautiful for a night look. But the great thing about her look is that it can be softened a lot. So my black is bleeding. And that's actually okay because she used a surprising amount of black on the lower eye. I just lost my photo. Now this is a touch darker than hers. That's where I take the lighter shade in, but it's a warm, almost a reddish undertoned brown. And so I feel more comfortable blending in the lighter shade a little bit. Then on the upper eye, you can see all this brown now. I look like a vampire. On the upper eye, she had a cool toned taupey gray. And I kind of played around with different colors, and the closest I came, I just don't have a color that's exactly the same, but it's a taupey gray. It's a Makeup Forever color, and it's shimmery. It is ME108. And so here, and I'm using very precise brushes. These are all a little bit stiffer. So what they've done here, I think this is the only shimmery shade she's got on her lids. And I'm going to do a different one on the other eye just so you can see the difference, because at first I thought it was a purple, and then I started playing with this shade and I'm like, no, I think this shade is really a lot closer. This is the one shade that I found the hardest to match. Part of the reason is because her eyes are open all the time, and so we don't see it. So it goes only on the lid, not into the crease. The other one I thought came close, even though it's really different in the total look, is Plum Smoke from Mercier. And by the way, I was trying to use only shades that are not limited edition, and that are mostly available. Although I didn't succeed 100%, but so you can see the difference. This one's got more of a purple tone, this one's got more of a kind of a gray tone, but I actually found that they both worked. Kind of odd. And then up here I used just a Vanilla Nuts from Mercier. This is really a basic ivory with a slight pink undertone that's matte again, and it's very clearly defined in any photo of her, this lighter shade up top. Then what I loved was that there's this warm brown here. So this is Makeup Forever. This one's also a little shimmery, but hers was less shimmery than the one I'm going to use. I606. Now this one you can actually get a similar shade from Makeup Forever in matte. I just don't have it. So this is in the crease all the way. It's like a warmer, almost a pinky brown. And it can't go too high because again, there's that clear definition up here of the lighter, but there's very clearly a warm pinky brown right in here. And I like the way that the look has such a great mix of warm and cool browns, and even a little gray and black. Okay, so the next place I had a little bit of a lack of nerve is a good way of saying it. is with a darker brown in the corner. So she very clearly has this outer corner of her eye in a darker brown. And this is a matte I'm using. And I probably am using slightly too big a brush. This is Makeup Forever. Let me get the color. ME624. No. M618, sorry. And this is just a dark brown. So this is going in the outer corner. And again, like I said, this is where my lack of nerve came in. I didn't really want to make it quite as dark as I needed to. And yet you can clearly see in her pictures that it's very, very clearly dark. I'll blend that a little bit right there. In the corner, the whole corner, going into the crease. And we're not done yet, by the way. It's got to go into the lower eye too. Right there. So you mix that in with the warmer brown. So this is a slightly cooler brown, and we're mixing that into the warmer brown. And we're going to have to fix that upper ivory shade at the end, which I always do anyway, by the way. So for me, the hardest part is right in here, this outer corner. I can never get that quite right. So I always have to build it up. I'm always not bold, brave enough to really build up that outer corner. And yet if you look at hers, it's beautifully done. And we're still not done because we still have to do the black. And the mascara. So I tried a couple of different things, and I'm going to show you both. Her lower eye in particular has some great black going on. And with the Perversion, since it bleeds a little, it's kind of like an easy cheat for me. I don't have to put quite so much black into it. So I tried both a black eyeliner on top, and I also tried just dotting on a black powder. And I actually much preferred the black powder. It just, the eyeliner I thought looked a little harsh for me in duplicating. So where's my eyeliner brush? So, taking an eyeliner brush, and this again is a Makeup Forever, what is it? It's a Makeup Forever matte again. And this one is called M100. And this is not an eyeliner look. This is a smoky eye. So if you're going to have like a strong eyeliner, like a cat eye, usually aren't going to do that with a smoky eye. I'm not liking my inner corner here, by the way, so I'm going to fix this eye. So you should start at the right here. This is really just dotting a little bit of a matte black into your eyelashes. She very clearly does not have a real line, like an eyeliner line, but she has black in the lashes. And then I always put, and she has some black mixed into the lower lashes, a tiny, tiny, tiny bit on the lower line. To be really careful. If you overdo anything, you can always just blend it. So I cannot emphasize enough how little black you want to put on the lower line. Just a tiny, tiny, I'm barely dotting my brush into the black eyeliner just to get a little bit right in the lashes. You can see as I'm taking just the tiniest little brush, it's just really swiping really into the lashes, almost dotting little bits of black. Like that. And so you've got just a really, really smoky black eye thing going. Now what I'm not happy with what I wasn't happy with as I was looking in the mirror, is I'm not happy with this little inner corner here. So I'm going to take a smaller brush, and I'm going to take this reddish brown shade, and I'm just really going to more precisely put it into the crease. And then the other thing I wasn't happy with, and then this, you know, should be blended a little bit. I use my fingers. Well, there are actually two other things I'm not happy with. The other two things I'm not happy with is I do think that the thing that I've lost, I do think that I need to put a little bit of the brown back here. And then I also feel like I need to find the lighter color and put a little bit more up here. And this is really, you know, I do this all the time anyway, just to smooth the lines, because as you're putting on different makeup colors, now this is going to look different on me a little bit just because my brown eyes. Okay, so I have my mascara, and then the other thing I'm going to fix, is I'm going to put more of the brown under my eyes, because like I said, you know, there were areas where I just wasn't bold enough initially, and she has such a thick brown line, every time I do it, I just feel like it's too much brown. I'm just going to put a little bit of that warm chocolate brown, and then I'm going to lighten it. But honestly, I'm still not putting it thick enough. She's got way more brown. Like that. And then mascara, and I just grabbed a mascara. I lost the one that I originally had for the video. So you need a lot of mascara. Change hands. And I do the lower lashes first. Actually need more mascara on here. Didn't pick the best mascara, but that's okay. Like I said, I lost the one I was going to use. It's somewhere on the seat cushion of my chair. She probably has false eyelashes on. Oh, maybe not. Looking at her picture, she might just have mascara on. Now try this with brown eyes and you will look like her. With the blue eyes, you get close. Anyway, that is my version of Jennifer Lopez's look from the Golden Globes 2015. Thanks for watching. Comments and suggestions are welcome. Bye-bye.